Hey, what's up, guys? Here on the Fire Sports Pod, where everything we got is hot. I'm your host, Zach Jackson, here on Recap Monday for Season 7, Episode 8. We are powered by StreamYard, where StreamYard makes the dream yard go. We got our co-host right here, Irv, back at it again. He's finally back from the hiatus he missed on Friday. We are back and ready to go. It is NFL free agency has been upon us. We have trades, we have signings, we got it going everywhere. This is going to be strictly NFL news. We all know about the whole thing with LeBron getting injured, the impact that could have on the Lakers coming up in this last 19-game stretch. We'll be probably going over that on Wednesday's podcast, but this podcast is got to be all NFL news. So let's get right to it. I'm going to share my screen. We're also on TikTok Live, so you guys can't watch the YouTube. You can definitely check us out on TikTok at the Fire Sports Pod _2.0. Don't forget it. So let's get right into it, shall we, Irv?
Yes, sir.
All righty, here we go. So we're going to share our screen. We're going to start from all the way down the list, all the way down. And that kind of starts out with Oze Odigizua. So as a Cowboys fan, he resigned for a 4-year monster $80 million contract. He even says, quote, "It doesn't even feel real." He's been one of our, other than Micah Parsons, has been one of our big-time threats defensively to be able to stop the run and do some good things here. So definitely Oze Odigizua is a guy that I'm happy that we signed as a Cowboys fan. But other than him, we haven't done anything other than restructuring Dak Prescott's deal, CeeDee Lamb's deal to open up $55 million in the cap. Other than that, the only guy we re-signed or did anything with the signing is Oze Odigizua, and he was already on our team. So right now, we have been interviewing a long snapper, ladies and gentlemen. This is how you know the Cowboys are in poverty, and they are absolutely atrocious, having Mr. Jerry Jones as the owner. But enough talk about my Cowboys. Screw them. We're going to go over some more stuff. Obviously, some big news that happened last week. Bears acquire All-Pro guard Joe Thuney from the Chiefs in a trade. The Chicago Bears are expected to trade for Kansas City Chiefs guard in exchange for a 2026 fourth-round draft pick. The fact that it was only a fourth-round draft pick and the Bears were able to acquire one of the best guards in football, in Joe Thuney from the Chiefs, especially after the shit show of a Super Bowl that the Chiefs had with the offensive line being literally dismantled by the Eagles defense. It was a big surprise when this trade popped up on my radar that this was a move that was actually happening. But the Bears, man, Caleb Williams was sacked the most, I believe, in NFL history last year, either as a rookie or in NFL history. And they have been making moves to upgrade their offensive line, their offense in general. It has been fantastic to see how well Ben Johnson has been able to really sink his teeth in this offense and in this team, and is really trying to get them to the promised land, which is hopefully into the playoffs next year. What were your honest thoughts, Irv? Quick thoughts about Joe Thuney moving on from the Chiefs in a trade to the Bears, only for a fourth-round draft pick?
I mean, although he's an offensive lineman, he's one of the best at his position. So when you really put that all together, I think he's worth a little bit more. Now, I understand what you're saying. I definitely agree with you. After that atrocious scene that we saw in the Super Bowl where the Eagles were absolutely giving belt to ass to the offensive linemen of the Chiefs, it's really sad to see how the Chiefs are just letting go now just of their line. I think that, obviously health is an issue, injury is an issue, but at the same time, I feel like, Patrick Mahomes needs that coverage. Patrick Mahomes really needs the help, especially in the offensive line, because at the Super Bowl, he was getting pressured by the best defense in the league, and he couldn't really perform well because of that. So it's definitely sad to see that he is gone, especially for only a fourth round pick.
Oh yeah, I mean, very, 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 very true, very true. This was a shocking news. Defensive end Sam Hubbard for the Bengals retires. A Dolphins linebacker Bradley Chubb agrees to revise his contract as well. So this was a very sad story. He just didn't have it in. He's played 8 seasons with the Bengals, all with the Bengals. He's a Bengal for life. But he is going to officially retire. Did not see this coming, especially the way the Bengals defense is and how thin they are defensively and how bad they were last year. To lose a guy like Sam Hubbard truly hurts. And now we're going to be going over it a little bit above in later in the show. But Hendrickson, their defensive end, was a seek a trade. Permission to seek a trade for Cincinnati. It doesn't look like he'll be moving. He doesn't want to go. According to reports that Irv told me before we jumped on the podcast, he doesn't want to leave. But if they do run him out, then he has to go somewhere. He'll be fit really anywhere. He could go to the Eagles. He can go to the Commanders. He can go to the Falcons, the Giants. He'll fit in any position because he's that type of a guy. But, man, the Bengals are just going downhill when it comes to defense.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that.
Raiders to release quarterback Gardner Minshew after one season with the team. He was terrible. It was horrible. It was a horrible season for him and the Raiders. They also did get signed Geno Smith from the Seattle Seahawks as their next quarterback, as he has regulations with Pete Carroll. As we all know, that was going to happen. We'll be going over that specifically up above. From March 5th, Rams trading veteran offensive line Johan Jackson to the Bears. Another big-time move for the Bears. So you pair Johan Jackson, who just a couple years ago was one of the best offensive linemen in the league for the Rams, and then you now pair him with Joe Thuney from the Chiefs.
Yeah, from the Chiefs.
Bears got a solid O-line. You got a guard and an offensive line guy. This is another big monster move. I think this was a great. But again, Chicago Bears get this in exchange for only a 2025 6th-round pick, which is absolutely crazy. That they were able to get this type of a talent just from a 6th round and a 4th round and a 5th round pick. They're one of the best offensive linemen in the league. Potentially. I think that's just. I think obviously you have some good thoughts on this, Irv, with the Bears and how well they've been doing so far in free agency.
Yeah, I mean, they've been doing really well so far. Like you mentioned earlier, Caleb Williams has been probably one of the most sacked players in NFL history, or as a rookie. Doesn't matter. Just him being in that statistic is absolutely insane. So automatically, head coach comes in, he automatically sees the problem, the offensive line. So what do? You get two of the best offensive linemen in their respective positions, and you only get them for just 4th-round pick, 5th-round pick. So it's absolutely crazy to see that the Bears are now upping their offensive line, which I feel like they struggled with the most back in the 2024-25 season.
I agree. Seahawks, we had some things on March 5th. Seahawks released wide receiver Tyler Lockett after a decade in Seattle. I think he's going to eventually retire. I think it's just too much. But they had a good squad there in Seattle. They kind of messed up the entire squad that they had. But they weren't going to go anywhere. They were going to probably be the same way they've been for the last 2 years, 9-7, 10-6, something around those lines. So I think it was a good enough thought. Tyler Lockett done great things for Seattle in his decade.
Yeah.
Super Bowl, has done some amazing things for that squad. So great career so far for him. It's been awesome. Seahawks, we all know we're going to be going over that earlier. Christian Kirk getting released. Raiders re-signed defensive end Max Crosby to a 3-year deal. We all knew that this was going to be a monster deal, making him the highest paid non-QB in the league. He definitely deserves it. He's the only guy on that defense for the Raiders, and he has been playing absolutely nuts football for his career so far. I think that's just the way it is. Eagles re-signed linebacker Zach Bond to a 3-year deal for $51 million. What's up, Robert? Philadelphia Eagles re-signing All-Pro linebacker Zach Bond to a 3-year, $51 million contract. Like I said, this was either obviously we went over before the podcast, Irv. It was either Sweat or Bond, and I think they decided to go with Bond. Bond was a big-time X factor. I think both players were on their Super Bowl run, but I just think Bond a little younger, a much better talent to keep on the roster.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, although Sweat was a very key defensive end in their in their reign of terror in the Super Bowl, but we definitely saw that Braun was also keeping it up as well, and I actually like this pickup. I rather have Christian Braun rather than Sweat. Not for anything, but I just feel like Braun in that position, I mean, he was arguably probably one of the best linebackers in the NFL, if not the best. So you saw how he was in the Super Bowl. I think this was a really good decision made by the Eagles. I know they had to pick either between Sweat and Braun, and I think they went the right direction.
Yeah, I do too. I think I agree with you on that one. Can we take a pause for just 2 seconds? I'm just going to answer a question on the live here. Thoughts
Wow.
on Garrett Cole's injury? It's devastating. Obviously, we were going to talk about this on Wednesday. Go over kind of an NBA injury type of MLB injury type of segments.
Injury
But
segment, yeah.
I'll go over a quick thing. Thoughts on the injury? The Yankees are going to be. It's going to be tough, but this is why we went and we did not pay Juan Soto for all that money. And it was a good reason why we didn't, because we were able to get some guys in there to fill the voles just in case we get some injuries. And obviously, the Yankees never cease to surprise me. We always have injuries be in spring training. Stanton might be out for the year, depending if he has to have 2 surgeries on both of his elbows. As we know, Garrett Cole, Tommy John surgery out for the year. It's just sad because the Yankees really had a squad this year. I would have loved to see Ace Garrett Cole with them, but we'll see what happens in the near future. But it's a bad loss, a big time loss, big time loss.
Big time
But
loss. Yeah.
back to the NFL. We all know Browns guard Joel Batoni returning for his 12th NFL season. The Browns offensive lineman has been fantastic for his 12th season. He's coming back. If the Browns want to do something this year or at least compete, they're going to have to keep this guy there because that's the guy that's been the only guy consistent on that offensive line for the Browns.
Yeah.
Deebo Samuel, we knew this last week. He's heading to the Washington Commanders. And the reason why I was very upset with this is because the Cowboys weren't even in this, and he signed it for a 5th-round pick. They traded a 5th-round pick for Deebo Samuel, which to me is absolutely bullshit.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of different reactions on the internet, and a lot of people were saying that Debo Samuel's got swapped for a pack of chips. Other people said that
Yeah.
he got swapped for literally nothing. I mean, for him to just get what was it again? A second round pick, third round. What was it that he got traded for?
5th-round pick.
A fifth round pick.
Yeah.
Even worse. Even worse. That was lower than the Chiefs guard that they
Yeah,
signed for a
that was a
fourth round
fourth-round
pick.
pick. Yep. Mhm.
So it's absolutely insane the way that some of these teams are really accepting. And Debo Samuels is no scrub either.
No, he's
He's
not.
no
He just
scrub.
had a bad season last year with some injuries and stuff like that from the previous season. So
And then pair him up with Rookie of the Year, pair him up with Jaden
Terry
Daniels,
McLaurin.
who led the team to the NFC Championship.
Yeah,
That's
and then
gonna be
and
one
then you have
scary duo.
Terry McLaurin on the other side.
Yeah, that's one scary duo. They just made Washington even more of a contender now.
Yeah, without a doubt, without a doubt. There was also, before we go to our next one, which would be going over the Cooper Cup situation. The Robert here on the podcast, on the live, said Metcalf to my Steelers, 2 diva wide receivers. I hope they gel. Still worried about the QB situation. Rogers, Wilson, or a draft pick is what I was looking like. I assume they signed one of them and a draft a QB to be under one of them. I'm not a fan of signing Rodgers, although I know the Steelers are a better situation for Rodgers. I don't want the drama. Hey, as a Steelers fan, if you're a Steelers fan, you are correct right there. They're
we
gonna
were we were just talking about this
we were
before
just
the
picking
pod.
there. I said that
Yeah.
I said that last week on Friday that Rodgers is going to go end up with the Steelers. Why? It's because he's Aaron Rodgers. Why? You have DK Metcalf. Why? You have George Pickens. You got Najee. You got a lot of the dogs on that team. If you're a little skeptical on the move with the both wide receivers that are there guys that pick some fights, make some shit about it. They're going to be fine. I think they're going to be great together. I think it's going to be a big time duo in Pittsburgh. Back at it again, where you had like Brian and Antonio Brown back then. So I think it's going to be like that. For Rodgers, I think he's a great fit. I know the drama in the bull, but you have Mike Tomlin there. Trust Mike Tomlin will keep that bull from getting out of that
Absolutely.
shit. So
Absolutely.
he'll be fine there. I think Wilson is definitely not the situation. Wilson sucks for Steelers. He needs to go to somewhere else where he is that guy, the main guy. He just didn't look right at the end of the season, the last 4 games for you guys, which is terrible. So I
Yeah,
definitely
it was
think
pretty
that
sad.
Rodgers will be fine, and I think Rodgers is going to make you guys a big difference if he's able to stay intact and not hurt. But
Hopefully, it's not. God forbid, it's not another Judge situation where he's out of the year, comes
yeah,
back
no, exactly.
second year, and
I
yeah,
think this might be his last year, depending on how well he does with whatever team he goes to. But I believe he's going to go to the Steelers.
it's more likely.
Now,
Yeah,
Cooper Kupp returning to the Rams for the 2025 season is not happening. He's going
yeah,
to be traded. We all know the Rams just picked up a monster, Devontae Adams, for a 2-year deal. We'll be going over that shortly. This was coming from the GM, Les Snead. He is least likely to come back. And now with the invention of Devontae Adams in Los Angeles, they came out and said that there's going to be a trade coming soon for Cooper Kupp, which is nuts because that guy is one of the best wide receivers still in the game. And had one of the best seasons when they won the Super Bowl that year. So I definitely think that is crazy to even think of. But that's the fact.
yeah.
Now this is where I could tell you the Chargers are going to make a splash. Now watch this.
Go ahead.
Chargers, they released 5-time Pro Bowl pass rusher Joey Bosa after 9 seasons. It's crazy how it's been already 9 seasons in with the Chargers. It feels like it's just been yesterday. He just got drafted. But he's going to be out of there. Now, do I think he gets to another team? Yes, because he's still got stuff left in the tank. I just don't think he's got enough where he can be that main guy for the defense. Now, as we know, Bengals pass rusher Hendrickson, he has is permission to seek a trade. He obviously, we know he said he doesn't want to go nowhere, but this is where he's going to go. He's going to go to Los Angeles because the Chargers losing him now have nobody as the pass rusher. They're going to pick up Hendrickson, and he's going to be that guy for the Chargers on defense, and that's a Jim Harbaugh type guy. No,
Yeah,
John Harbaugh. Yeah, John Harbaugh. No, or is it Jim? No, Jim.
I
Jim
think
Harbaugh.
it's Jim Harbaugh. Jim
Jim
Harbaugh.
Harbaugh. Is that's the type of guy that he likes, so he's going to go there. I think that's the right move.
I agree with that. But definitely, especially just releasing Bosa, they definitely are missing that pass rusher. So definitely, I think Hendrickson, if a deal's not made in Cincinnati, that would be a good pick, a good replacement for Bosa in LA.
Yeah, definitely. Robert, just let me know when does Pittsburgh Steelers pick. And I'll let you know if they could take a quarterback for a development wise behind Aaron Rodgers because I think that's the right move. Darius Slay has no hard feelings about the Eagles. Release still open to return to Philadelphia. So he wants to come back. I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, I'll take the Cowboy. I'll take him. I'll take Darius Slay as a cornerback on the Cowboys. We already know Trayvon Diggs might not be healthy for the start of the year. So I'll take Slay all day. Bring him there. That's a dog on defense. I don't care what anybody says. I like Darius Slay. I
No,
just
Darius Slay,
he's
even though he's
getting
old,
old. Yeah,
he's
that's what I
still
said.
good.
He's
He's
getting
still
old.
good. Performs at a very high level still at his age.
Yeah. Slay signed for Pittsburgh. When did that come out?
No way.
Robert, when did that come out? Because this was March 6th. I haven't got any news on Slay signing.
Maybe he's saying like, oh, for Pittsburgh to sign.
No. He said, yeah. Yo, Irv, do me a favor and look that up.
Yeah, I'm literally on a website where it's live. I'm just trying to see.
Cowboys owner Jerry Jones not looking for free. Yeah, I already went over that. That shit's bullshit.
Wait, they said Darius Slay.
Yeah, Darius Slay, right, Robert? You said Darius Slay from the Eagles, cornerback. He signed with Pittsburgh, or you want him to sign with Pittsburgh?
Because I think he's talking. Well, I think he's saying that he wants him to sign with Pittsburgh because I didn't get nothing. Oh no!
No, it is right.
There's some talk saying that Darius Slay could be heading to the Steelers, but that was 5 hours ago.
No. Robert said no. He did sign with Pittsburgh. All right, hold on, guys. We're gonna take a break to try to figure out if Darius Slay is a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Yeah, Daily Mail says Darius Slay signs with Steelers after getting cut by Eagles following Super Bowl win.
Yep.
And then
Okay. Yep. I just got that. Yep. So Darius Slay is a Pittsburgh Steeler. I think that helps you guys. You guys, that secondary could help out a little bit. I think that having a veteran like that, a Super Bowl winning champion, I have that in the, as your cornerback in the cornerback room is going to be something.
wow,
That's big. I did not see that. Nothing said.
I did not see that. And
Thank you,
I was on
Robert.
the NFL. I was on the
Appreciate my guy.
NFL Network. I was on the
Yeah, that's
NFL
crazy.
thing.
That's crazy.
Wow, a really
Uh,
good pickup for the Steelers to
that's
improve their
crazy.
defense even more.
Big time. Jaguars trading cornerback, wide receiver Christian Kirk to the Texans for a 2026 seventh round pick. Obviously, Christian Kirk can play. I think the Texans were doing this because I think Stephon Diggs, they might be anticipating Stephon Diggs leaving Houston. In that matter, I think that's probably why they picked up somebody, or just because of the injury because of Tank Dell from
Yeah,
last year where he broke his knee. I think that's probably why they picked him up, just to fill that void for now. But Christian Kirk can play, man. I think that's a good pickup, especially for a seventh round pick, a guy that had over 1,000 yards. I think that's a pretty good pick.
yeah, great pick.
So Commanders re-signing linebacker Bobby Wagner, 1-year contract worth $9.5 million. Obviously, keeping the savvy veteran in the locker room. You have a young team in Washington. You have a good coach in Dan Quinn on defense for a defensive guy. You keep Bobby Wagner as much as you can. I think that's definitely the fact that you are able to keep Bobby Wagner is great.
Yeah, you have a key veteran slash like captain for the defensive end that could really bring that force.
Yeah,
It really,
most definitely, most definitely. Now, Seahawks are trading cornerback Geno Smith to the Raiders. Robert, this is crazy. So the guy Robert, right? That's on live right now. I thought his
yeah.
name was actually Robert, but it's actually my boy Jared from Paramus High School, which he's a Steelers fan. And me and him used to go back and forth about the Cowboys, Steelers, and the AFC and NFC. So what's up, Jared? Appreciate you showing support, my guy. Thanks, brother. So Seahawks trading. Yeah, he knows his shit. So if he's telling me that the Steelers got Darius Slay, I think I'm gonna.
I'm just saying, like, I was on the NFL Network, bro, and there was no report about Darius Slay going to the Steelers. That's crazy,
Yeah, I had no idea. No reports, nothing. Not from ESPN,
bro.
CBS.
Freaking Daily Mail said it.
No, Jared, they did
Reported
the
it.
Steelers pretty shit, bro. They did not announce it to the world, man. Did not announce it to the world. Seahawks trading cornerback Geno Smith to the Raiders. I
Yeah,
know we talked about this a little earlier. The Seahawks are a team now. I think is just in the rebuilding stage. I think they kind of just blew it up. They were like, hey, this is going to kind of be probably the same season that we had the last 2 years. We're not going to pretty much go anywhere from this. Let's just blow it up and try to get some assets in. Try to go for a young quarterback maybe next year in the draft. See if they could pick up somebody this year, or maybe they go after free agency. But right now, their wide receiver core has got pretty much nobody.
yeah.
I mean, they got one of their young stars in Jigba, which is a really good star at wide receiver. But other than that, they got nobody else. So I definitely think that was kind of their mindset. I think the Raiders having Pete Carroll, Tom Brady as an ex executive GM, I think is absolutely a part of the reason why Geno went there. And I think that's a good start in the right direction for Las Vegas.
Absolutely, yeah.
And we'll see what happens. But Jared said pick 21, so I assume Ears and maybe Dart will be available, but that's a maybe. I think Dart, Jared, goes early in the draft. We're gonna do a draft. We're gonna do a draft coming up, a mock draft for us on the podcast. But yours is not bad. And McCord is not bad. I think the best bet for the Steelers probably be McCord. I think Ewers might go a little bit higher than people think, and I think McCord drops. Not because of just who he is and the way he plays, just because he's been on Ohio State and that team, and he was in Ohio State and then he went off. I mean, I would, if I was a Steelers fan, I would like Ewers better than McCord. I don't really like McCord that much. I would
But
take,
ears will probably get taken higher.
but Ewers might be taken higher, especially for the Steelers situation. I would like to see Ewers there. Good year at Syracuse, but again, it's Syracuse. Like they don't get like I get it like their conference is not good. Like at least when he was playing with Ohio State, he was playing against some good competition, and like then you're able to see his numbers. But in Syracuse, like he could throw for as many yards as he can, but you're playing against like not too good of a competition. But again, we'll see what happens in the draft. But we'll be going over the mock draft very soon. Buccaneers agree to terms with linebacker Levante David. I know you were happy about this, Irv.
Absolutely, man.
Levante.
Absolutely. I mean, again, you have probably Levante David, probably like one of the best linebackers in the game, and he's also a veteran as well. So
Sure.
he's the one who kind of glues like our defense together.
No doubt. No doubt.
So just to see him re-sign with us again for 1 year, another year, it's really good. It's really good, especially since we might get into some other news about the Buccaneers picking up another guy. But yeah, overall though, really like this pickup for the Buccaneers again.
Yeah, definitely. So now we had some sad news, but before we go to, yeah, a lot depends on the NFL situation to get thrown into usually. That usually is about that. I mean, look at Bryce Young. Like that's like I think in any other situation where you have some comparable pieces and you're not in the Panthers, I think he plays better than he plays there. And he played better last year at the end of the year. So very true on that. But Chiefs wide receiver Xavier Worthy arrested on assault charge. It was coming back and forth. Some say that some news came out that said he was arrested. Then some news the charges dropped. So we got to see what comes about in the coming days. But it's just not a good look as one of the young stars of the league, one of the fastest guy in the NFL Combine ever to run the 40, gets arrested.
Yeah,
He's a young kid. It was a family event. It was a family getting arrested because attacking a family member. It's just not the way you want to go. It's just sad to see, but we'll see. We'll see if anything comes about this in the near future. But for right now, it's not a good look for the Chiefs or Xavier Worthy in general.
yeah. That's a really sad, especially since now the Chiefs are low key on a little downfall. But you also have a little bit of light right there where we just see
Yep.
Hollywood Brown, just re-signed with them again.
And I think that's the reason for it. I think the Chiefs are just being cautious. Obviously, understanding that Marquise Brown was out for a while last year, wasn't able to get his footing in the
Yeah,
door. So I think they were like, "Yo, let's bring him back." We don't know what's happening with Xavier Worthy with the arrest. At least we have a bona fide number one in the building. So they
yeah,
signed him for a 1 year, $11 million deal, and then the Bills signing defensive end Greg Rosario to a 4 year, $80 million contract. Commanders bringing back tight end Zach Ertz.
yeah,
I think bringing back a veteran tight end like that helps out Jaden Daniels, helps out the offense for the Commanders, as well as just the in general life inside that locker room. And then the Bills signing a defensive end. Their defense last year was much better than the previous years, but then at the back end of the season, they really got killed.
yeah,
So I think signing him help out. They just need a little bit more work on defense wise. Um, this was awesome to see. Ravens agreed to terms. I know Jared's gonna hate this, and he wished they let him go. But left tackle Ronnie Stanley, 3 years, $60 million contract with the Ravens. Man was a monster. Stanley's a beast, dude. He's huge, dude. He's like over 300 pounds, and he's like over
no,
6
yeah,
so he's a monster. Definitely helping out Lamar Jackson there. Definitely need to keep that core offensive line intact because they've had a history of being injured over the last couple years.
yeah.
So we'll you think TJ gets more than 110? Oh, I forgot TJ Watt's due for a contract. Whoo, over 110 mil. I mean, if I'm the Steelers, I think you got to give it to him. He's been
You
doing.
think he'll get more than Max Crosby?
I think he gets a little bit more than Max Crosby. I do believe so.
Because I think Max Crosby capped out at 109 million.
Yeah, I think he gets 110. I'll say go. I think TJ gets signed. Whatever the year is, I don't know if you want to do 4, 5, 6, whatever that year is, but I think it's screw the years, but I think it's over 100. I think it's 110.5 mil. I think he gets the nod for that. I just think you can't say no. I mean, you got all the guys you got. You got to re-sign that man. He's a beast. He's the one that makes that defense run for the numerous years that he's been a part of that group. So I think
you don't think Aaron's contract, sorry to interrupt, but you don't think Aaron Rodgers' contract will probably get involved
no, because they're going to
or
sign him to a 1-year deal. They're not going to sign him to an
mhm.
extension. I don't think, and if it does not happen, that's probably why Aaron Rodgers doesn't go to the Steelers, because of the fact that he wants to do more than 1 year. But I think he's out the door after this year, depending on what happens.
Yeah.
I think if he wins a Super Bowl, I'm not putting the clock on this.
I mean, obviously, if he wins the Super Bowl,
But
he's gonna
if he
come
wins a
back. But
Super Bowl, I think he's coming back. Or he says, "Yo, I'm riding off in the sunset after a Super Bowl win." I mean, yeah. And even Jared said, as a Steelers fan, he said that Rodgers more than 1 year is very stupid, and he even said we ain't winning shit. You know me, I'm not biased, Jared. So I'll give you guys the benefit of doubt. I think you guys got a good enough team to compete this year. You just got to figure out that quarterback situation. Now Bills releasing 2-time Super Bowl winner Von Miller in a cost-cutting move. I think it was just to open up some cap space for Buffalo to either increase their defensive prowess or re-sign somebody in the offensive end. But yeah, I think this was the right situation. Von Miller just doesn't have the same pep in his step that he once had as a Super Bowl winner. And I think that's the right move. I really do. Myles Garrett. This is pretty crazy. He was the one that decided after the Pro Bowl he was going to say, "I'm seeking a trade. I want to be traded." Then decides to proceed. About a month later, he decides to gets an extension for 4 years, $40 million per year for a total guarantee, 123 million guaranteed.
but so he probably signed for 40 years for like 160.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that was pretty crazy. I was not expecting him to get signed or re-signed by the Browns. I thought he was going to leave.
A lot of people are saying that Abdul Carter, if he gets picked up by the Browns in the draft, that's a scary
I
dude.
I think that's why I don't know, but I was saying we were also both talking about this. We were both saying that if the Browns re-sign Garrett, they're probably going to go pick Abdul Carter
Yeah.
as the draft pick. Now, does
Yeah.
that make any sense? Probably not, because you need to get that quarterback, because Deshaun Watson is not your answer. He already has another Achilles tear in his rehab assignment, and I think they definitely need a quarterback. But if you want to keep your monster, which you just re-signed him, I think that was kind of like, yo, we're gonna go get Abdul Carter and play it by ear, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But like I said, we said Trey Hendrickson says nowhere I'd rather be than Cincinnati, a mid-trade request. But
He needs to get paid. I
but
feel like the Bengals,
he
the
needs to.
Bengals. I think we spoke about this before as well,
Yep.
where they franchise tag T Higgins again. So, and I think we also discussed that was their choice. They had to pick between T Higgins or Trey Hendrickson,
And they picked
and
T. Higgins.
they picked T Higgins. They wanted to keep that offensive core because although the Bengals were pretty shit, that offensive
That's an
core.
understatement.
Well, like for this year, but like
No, I'm saying like I'm agreeing
yeah,
with you by
yeah,
saying that's an understatement. They're
yeah.
really bad.
But like, I mean, they wanted to keep the offensive core together, and I feel like they need to focus on the defensive side, and hopefully they could squeeze out enough money to pay Hendrickson. I don't think they do. I think at the end of the day, like we said before, he will go to the Chargers. So, but we think that he might go to the Chargers, but yeah, he doesn't want to leave. So.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. But Jared said T.J. Watt is very disrespected. People have realized a fire is lit under his ass for this year, down year by his standards last year. NFL better be worried about him. Game changer record at his best.
Goodness.
100%. I mean, that is exactly he is. And he is very disrespected in the NFL, most definitely. People don't give him the most credit that they should give him. He's been one of the most consistent guys since he's been drafted.
Yeah.
Um, and he deserves his flowers because the only reason why that defense clicks is because of him. And that to me having that type of guy on defense is really something else. And not a lot of teams have that guy. I can only name a few that have that dude on defense, type of guy on defense right now. But the Chiefs are re-signing linebacker Nick Bolton to a 3-year, $45 million deal. This is definitely the answer because their defense, yes, it was pretty good last year. When they versed the Eagles, they were absolutely atrocious.
Yeah, they weren't good.
So they definitely need to re-sign some guys, especially this guy. He's been really good for them over the past year or two. Especially last year, their defense was good during the regular season and then the playoffs. But once they burst the Eagles in the Super Bowl, I don't know what happened. They just went down the tubes. For me, Aaron Jones getting re-signed by the Vikings is big. I said it earlier this last week. I said if the Vikings re-sign Aaron Jones, that's the right move. I was also picking different running backs that the Cowboys could pick up, and that was one of the guys was Aaron Jones. I had a feeling they would re-sign him. He had a really good year with them last year. And now we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, but I think Aaron Jones going back to Minnesota helps out whoever is going to be the quarterback for the Vikings. I think it's going to be JJ McCarthy, their rookie that was last year that was injured. I think that's a move that they're probably going to make. Seahawks signing linebacker Ernest Jones to a 3-year, $33 million deal. Obviously Seahawks defense, offense, everybody's rebuilding, but having this guy back is big. Ernest Jones was one of their bright sides on defense last year. Allen needs to win a Super Bowl soon. I'm rooting for him. Big money. Yeah, definitely. With the contract that he got earlier today or yesterday, he definitely needs to win a Super Bowl soon. I thought it was this year was going to be. It was either him or the Chiefs beating. I thought the Chiefs. My thing, Jared, was when that game happened, and Irv can attest to this. When that game happened, we were both saying whoever wins this game is winning the Super Bowl, and that's what I thought. It was either Bills or Chiefs. Did not expect the Eagles to come in there and absolutely do belt to ass on them fucking Chiefs. I did not see that coming. Absolutely did not see that coming. But I thought the Bills had it, and they weren't able to get the job done. But having a 6-year, $330 million deal with $250 million guaranteed, that keeps him through Buffalo through 2030, is absolutely nuts. So I think definitely, Jared, I agree that you definitely got to take and get a Super Bowl very soon. If you're a Bills guy. Yeah, J-Lo legit today has been wild. And yes, Jared, the franchise has suffered enough. I definitely agree with you that. Now the Seahawks trading wide receiver DK Metcalf to the Steelers. Obviously we went over this, Jared, a little bit earlier. I think this was big for the Eagles. I mean for the Eagles, for the Steelers. I think this brings another monster in that locker room with Pickens. Now, again, like you said, are they going to coexist together? I think very so. I think that's good. I think iron sharpens iron, and I think that's what's going to happen in minicamp, in TOs, practice, games. I think that's what's going to happen, and I think they just got to get the right quarterback in that room to help those guys out. Carlton Davis on free agency. This time I ain't going to settle for less. So Carlton Davis heads towards free agency as one of the top corners available. I don't know. Carlton Davis, he was what? He signed with the Patriots, right?
Yeah. I think, let me see. Yeah, I believe Carlton Davis did sign with the Patriots.
I think it was like a 3-year deal. I saw that earlier. Yo, Jared, I got a question. And yo, Irv, I got a question. This comes up March 10th. Ben Roethlisberger jokes about coming out of retirement following the Steelers trade.
Yeah, I saw that.
Now, Jared, what do you think about your monster Ben Roethlisberger coming out of retirement to play with DK and George Pickens? He's like, no. He's like, no.
Bro, how old is
Ben's got to be old. Yo, Jared, how old? You know the history. How old is Ben right now? If he would come out of retirement. He's like, thanks, but no thanks. 41. Hell nah.
Nah,
41. No, no,
he's not a Tom Brady, bro. He
no.
probably got beer belly and everything. But
Yeah.
to answer your question before,
Yeah.
The Patriots for a 3-year deal with Carlton Davis
3-year deal. Okay, cool.
for the
I
Patriots.
think
Yeah.
that's a good pickup for the Patriots. Having that cornerback. Oh, and Jared said he ain't Brady exactly.
Exactly. He ain't no Brady.
No. But Panthers signed cornerback J.C. Horn. This was crazy. 4-year to $100 million deal. Add safety Trayvon Moehrig to the team as well. The Panthers are really stacking up on defense. That was really they were really couldn't hold anybody last year. They were getting blown out left and right. They're actually playing at the back stretch of the season. They
Yeah,
were
I was
against
just
some
gonna
really
say
good
that.
teams,
They
and they
were
were
playing
playing
good.
really well. So I was very
They were playing
surprised on
good.
how well the Panthers played last year.
Yeah, they definitely could have been a little bit better. I mean, obviously it was already too late for them to be playing like good
Yeah,
because they were like what 3-3 and they only had like 3 wins in the season, 4 wins in the season.
yeah.
By the time they were playing better, so but I was looking very promising for North Carolina. Not promising for me because they're a division rival, but we're just waiting to see what exactly they're cooking up over there.
Exactly. Falcons released veteran defensive tackle Grady Jarrett after 10 seasons with the team. Irv, I know we went over this before. I have this on my phone, but where did Grady Jarrett go?
So
Uh,
Grady Jarrett signed a 3-year, $43.5 million deal with the Bears hours after being released from the Falcons. So he ended up just going
hey,
with the
Jarrett,
Bears.
appreciate it, brother. I'll catch you later.
He ended up signing a 3-year deal for 44 million with the Bears that are trying to reconstruct basically like their offensive line, and now they just upped their defensive line, which is I think is just a major plus for them.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, cool. So where did he go again? The Falcons?
No,
Or no?
he went to the Bears.
He went to the Bears. Okay, he was from the Falcons. All right, so the Bears getting another monster. That's a big move, man. Helping the Bears out. They got offense, they got defense. This is really helping them out. Khalil Mack re-signs with the Chargers on a 1-year, $18 million contract. I think that just shows this is his last season. I think Mack's last season in the NFL. He's been here for a while. Man's definitely a bona fide Hall of Famer.
Of course.
And he's going to be leaving the NFL after this year. He wants to go one more time, see what the Chargers can do this year. I think the Chargers are going to be better than they were last year. Definitely think so.
I agree with that.
And I know you like this one. Buccaneers re-sign wide receiver Chris Godwin and adding pass rusher Hassan Reddick.
So that's what I was trying to say earlier. Now you re-sign Devontae White. Now you add
You mean
Hassan
Levante
Red.
David?
I mean, sorry, yes, Levante David. My fault. You get David back, and then you add in Hassan Reddick. Very dangerous going on. I mean, I know Tampa Bay has always been about defense. Even when they had Tom Brady, they still have Mike Evans. They have Bucky Irving now, but back when like Tom Brady was there, and they had like they had White there as well. They had Mike Evans. But defense was always their game, always their game. So just to add another defensive monster to the lineup is actually really good and really insane. And I'm just glad to see that Chris Godwin is back for another year. Really helps Mike Evans kind of space out the field a little bit. He's dangerous. You also have the rookie from last year, Bucky Irving, who was also dangerous as well. Baker Mayfield playing out of his mind. Tampa Bay looks really promising now. I mean,
Yeah,
they always have, but they look even more promising.
definitely, without a doubt. Now we all know Rams re-signed veteran QB Jimmy Garoppolo to back up Matthew Stafford just in case. I think that's a good pickup. Just to re-sign this guy. He's a veteran as well. Has been to a Super Bowl. Just in case Matthew Stafford goes down. We all know Matthew Stafford's great, but he has dealt with injuries over his career, and I think that's the right move. Colts
I agree.
signed DB Tre'Davious Ward, Cameron Bryant, Titans Inc. Left tackle Dan Moore to an $82 million contract. So we got a lot there. Colts
Whoa.
re-signing the defensive back, Tre'Davious Ward, I think is great. The Colts defense
Yeah.
has been okay of late. They just need some help in that secondary, and I think this really does help. And
hmm
Cameron Bryant which is another good time DB. Titans Inc. left tackle. They definitely help at left tackle. That's the blind side for the quarterback. So I definitely think that's a big time contract. But 82 mil, Jesus.
I was about to say that. I thought that was like not all the contracts combined, obviously, but I thought that was like I don't
No,
know.
yeah, that's just for that left tackle, dude.
Wow, that's insane. Almost 100 mil for a left tackle. I mean, good for the Titans, I guess.
Yeah, no, and then Detroit agreed to a contract with veteran cornerback DJ Reed. So he's leaving. I believe he's leaving
The Jets.
the Jets. The Jets. So he's leaving the Jets to go to the Lions. Lions need help big time at cornerback. Their secondary has had some problems. And their entire defense last year had some problems defensively because of injuries. They were one of the most
They were never
injury
healthy, yeah.
prone defense in the league, other than I think maybe the Cowboys and the 49ers. They were like the big three teams that were really injured last year.
Oh yeah, 49ers. Oof, yeah.
And then free agent Milton Williams agrees to a 4-year contract with the Patriots. He's leaving the Eagles for a 4-year deal worth $26 million. I think this is a big time move. The Patriots front line has been getting weaker and weaker every season. I think this helps out there mightily. And then finally, the two biggest news of all. The Jets signing quarterback Justin Fields to a 2-year, $40 million contract. I called it. We called it, I should say. Not me. We called it.
Yeah.
So, 40-year, $40 million deal, 2-year. I'm telling you, the Jets are doing something next year. Watch. Right, Irv? Watch right now.
I'm telling you, they're cooking. They're
March
cooking up
10th,
right now.
March 10th, 2025. I'm telling you right now, the Jets next year are going to be dangerous. Just watch. Just watch.
I agree with that.
QB Sam Darnold to a 3-year, $100 million deal. Think this is big. As we know, Sam Darnold has had ties to the offensive coordinator or the coach in Seattle, who was his guy in New York. And I think this has definitely a reason why Sam Darnold's going there. A lot of people were saying Sam Darnold should not go to Seattle. He should go to Pittsburgh. I thought he was going to go to Seattle just because of the fact that his guy is there in Seattle.
No, I mean Seattle picking up Sam Darnold. Hopefully he could perform like during the regular. I feel like when he was at Minnesota, he did perform pretty well. I think towards in the beginning and then mid season. Obviously, towards the end of the season, he wasn't. I don't know, Zach. Maybe you want to chime in on this. Maybe
the last 3
has.
or 4 games, he was
Yeah, he wasn't
in the
performing.
postseason, 2 in the regular season.
Yeah, I feel like he just wasn't performing well, and the last stretch where the Vikings needed him the most. I think he performed well at the beginning of the season, also performed well in the mid-season. So, definitely, hopefully, he can perform the same way he did in Minnesota. With the Seahawks, I mean, I know the Seahawks, like Zach and I said, or mainly Zach, that they're reconstructing right now. They're definitely trying to build up. They're keeping a couple of. They got rid of both of their wide receivers. They kept the defensive guy there. So we're just gonna ready to see, what else in the next 2 days. What else can the Seahawks really do here for Sam Darnold?
Yeah, definitely. And then the last forward ones that we'll just chuck right through. Cardinals signing defensive tackle Josh Sweat to a 4-year, $76 million deal from the Eagles, Super Bowl winning champion. Cardinals defense absolutely sucks. They were better than they were the 2 years ago. But I think Sweat definitely helps them out coming up this year. We already went over Grady Jarrett. But then Texans trading left tackle Larman Tunsil to the Commanders for draft picks. I thought this was stupid. The fact of the matter is he's a good left tackle. He's not the greatest, but he's a good left tackle. To the fact that now you bring it to Washington, where now Washington is going to be helped out with Jaden Daniels. I think the Texans need to worry about helping out C.J. Stroud and him getting sacked too much and getting hurt last year. So I definitely think that just did not make sense for me. And then finally, the Browns trading for QB Kenny Pickett, the Eagles to receive Dorian Thompson Robertson as the backup. for Jalen Hurts, and now for Deshaun Watson will be Kenny Pickett. I think this was the case because knowing that maybe Deshaun Watson will not be ready come regular season, and they need somebody that actually can do something. So I think definitely that's where that's where they went with that route.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't mean to. I want to chime in real quick because I am on CBS Live right now for live trades.
Yep.
And guess what was one of the reports? The latest one, 14 minutes ago. Cowboys finally added a free agent.
Well, they
Someone must have finally reminded Jerry Jones that the free agent tampering period opened today because the Cowboys finally added a free agent. The Cowboys have agreed terms with former Broncos running back Javonte Williams on a 1-year, three
really.
$3 million deal, according to NFL media.
Yeah, I saw
So
that come up on my screen. I didn't read it on my phone, and I was like, "Oh Jesus!" And then
let's
when you
go.
told
Let's
me,
go Dallas.
no,
We're
no,
not hyped for this, Zach. Come on, Zach.
no, he sucks. He's garbage. That just means we're not getting Ashton Genty in the draft.
Well, that pretty much sucks. I'm
Yeah,
sorry to hear that from you, bro.
yeah. We're either gonna get a wide receiver from Arizona, or we're gonna get the cornerback from Michigan.
Also, we also have your guy Gallup, who was retired with the Cowboys, and now as he's coming out of retirement, he actually goes and he visits the Commanders, according to NFL media, John Breech.
And watch him go like nuts on the Commanders. This is just gonna be a shit show of a season for the Cowboys.
Division rival Giants
Oh,
recently re-signed Darius Slayton. I know we talked about this. I don't know if we talked about this on the pod or off the pod.
off the pod we did, but yeah, Slayton sucks. It's okay.
Yeah, signed him for 3 years, 36 million. Bills wide receiver Mac Hollins set to sign with the Patriots on a 2-year, $8.4 million deal. Uh, Hollins didn't put up huge numbers in 2024. He only caught 31 passes for 378 yards, but he did lead the Bills with 5 touchdown receptions. In addition of Hollins means another weapon for Drake May down over there in New England. So far, as of 16 minutes ago, that's been the latest news so far, updated by CBS Sports. Here, yeah. So far, I refreshed the page. That's the most recent news that the Cowboys added Javonte Williams.
Terrible.
Listen. I'm rooting for you guys though. Are you guys?
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. Listen, you guys are not even division rivals.
Doesn't matter. The NFC team. You're rooting against
I
me.
know.
I know you are.
No.
Listen. You got your toes crossed in your shoes, bro.
Actually, if I'm being honest, my toes are uncrossed. Why? Because I genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, as a sports fan, feel bad for the Cowboys.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. You're one of the few that everyone thinks we're such this golden fucking team. No, why? Because it's our fans. We think we're winning the Super Bowl every year. Instead of just saying that we're not winning it. We're not even close. We were 2 years ago. We were close. We should have won.
You guys, it's because the history with you guys. You guys are probably like, what's a good NBA comparison? You guys are like the Lakers of the NFL.
No, not even close.
In terms of history, you guys are either the Celtics or the Lakers.
I would say that if you're doing history, it's the 49ers and the Cowboys. That's the most historic squads.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that's why
you can put Pittsburgh in there. So I mean, we're one
but
of
that's
them.
why I'm saying that you guys are on such a mantle in terms of an NFL team because of your history. Because of your history, your fans, your delusional fans.
At least the Lakers win. At least the Lakers win.
No, and
they didn't have a 35-year drought.
I'm just saying, in terms of history, that's all.
Yeah, but at least they didn't have a 35-year drought.
Yeah, true. I get that.
For 35 years. They haven't made an NFC championship in 35 years. I don't know, man. It's just terrible. Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. But is that it? Are we done?
Yeah. I mean, I could refresh this page one more time, see if we got any news. I don't really think Yeah. So far, the latest news has been at 7:50 about 20 minutes ago about the Cowboys signing a new free agent. But so far, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Damn. All right, guys, and that's pretty much it for the show here in the Fire Sports Pod, where everything we got is hot. I'm your host, Zach Jackson. Here's our co-host, Irv, back at it another podcast here on Recap Monday, Season 7, Episode 8 on the Fire Sports Pod. We are powered by StreamYard, where StreamYard makes the dream yard go. I'll see you guys on Wednesday for Season 7, Episode 9 on the Fire Sports Pod. Catch you guys later. Thanks for all the support out there. If you guys did not catch us on live, you guys could check us out at YouTube on the Fire Sports Pod. And that it will be pretty much all. I'll catch you guys later. Have a great rest of your Monday night, and we'll see you all Wednesday.